So, the Avengers and all the other superheroes, I mean, not all the superheroes, the Marvel ones, that Disney has the rights to. I'm sort of assuming that you know who all of these people are, seeing as this is episode 22. The Avengers are all bummed out because Thanos, who's played by Josh Brolin, who's in the Goonies as the kid he looks like, Thanos has used the Infinity Gauntlet to snap 50% of all sentient life out of existence. It's magic, you see. Or science. Thanos, and this is a spoiler but not for this film, he's sick of having to queue at Chili's and stand on public transport, and that emo chick in his design class isn't interested. So he's decided to get rid of 50% of all sentient life. And he's done it. So, after an intro where Arrow, he's the one that's really good with a bow and arrow. I think he was a police archer or something. Where we see Arrow's family get snapped out of existence, just to remind us what's going on. Then we see all of the Avengers sat around their clubhouse licking their wounds. Captain Marvel's there, and her hair is looking very good for just 3 weeks after the genocide. Sort of like a pixie cut, a bit like Emma Watson 10 years ago, but in no way derivative of that. Captain Marvel has assessed the situation and found out what the Avengers did wrong. And, minor spoiler here, it's just like Reddit said, insufficient punching. Also at this bit, Captain America looks at a picture of an old lady, and you just know. Then the Avengers find out where Thanos is, and although they can't do anything to reverse the situation, Thor especially is like, come on lads, let's have a word. 5 years later, time's important in this film, Captain America has really nice hair, and he's doing some counselling about all of that snap thing. Ant-Man gets out of a van, and I do like Ant-Man in this because he's very confused all throughout, which I sympathised with, and he always did treat Phoebe right. Then Captain Marvel has a different haircut, and it's just like real life because only the boring people are left alive. Ant-Man gives a rundown of the quantum realm, and it is very technical. However, he does it in such a way, it's sort of like he's worried that he might have left his cooker on at home, and he really wants to get the explanation out of the way, to deal with that. And I appreciate that because it does make things more exciting. Then, Easter egg, our first Audi. Versprung der Technik, aber nicht in meinen Augenbraunen, por favor, as the Germans say. Then, and we're only about half an hour in, some Avengers go and visit the Hulk, but it isn't the Hulk, it's a combination of the Hulk and Brucey Banner, so the Hulk isn't really in this movie. But it's funny. And I have to say, thank God. Cut to Iron Downey Jr. and he's thinking about that Martin Niemöller quote about genocide sucking ass, and bang, he figures out time travel. I hear that's how Archimedes escaped that siege. Or was it on a horse? And then another Audi, and you can tell, it took their time filming it. Deutschland. So anyway, none of this stuff really matters, but it is the first hour, and then some of the Avengers go and try and re-recruit Thor, and the acting's a lot better in that bit because it's funny, and that's how Thor works. There's a lot of recruiting in this film for a film that is the end of a series, and I wouldn't really mind that as much in the Thor bit if the acting was a bit better. And it's not bad or anything, it's just not as good as it usually is because it's not funny, and Thor is inherently funny, like Muhammad, or Cyrus, or Saint Anthony. Saint Anthony, where is my extension cord? Okay, after they re-recruit Thor and Iron Man figures out time travel, there's quite a lot of exposition, which is about the time I remembered that my next door neighbour never returned it. Then, after all of that exposition, the Avengers are all walking along in these special white suits that they've got made, because white is the colour of time, and they're doing it in slow motion, so you know they mean business. And the rabbit as well has its arms folded, so it's like, woo. So this is where the story starts, with the Avengers going back in time to get the Infinity Stones that allowed Thanos to do the 50% thing, but not, stop existential threats to his plan. So Iron Man and Captain America go back to the 70s, and Iron Man has a moment with his dad. And it was a bit awkward, because I kind of felt like it was sort of none of my business. I would have excused myself from the situation and wished them well had I been there. But, I am glad about it, because it was nice. Captain America gets to spy on the old lady he's in love with, but it's okay, she's not that old. She is on the turn, but Arrow and Black Widow have a fight to the death over who can kill themselves to get the soul sacrifice stone. Is it the Soul Stone? The Soul Stone. I won't tell you who dies because it just seems irrelevant. Then Nebula, the blue woman, not portrait of a serial killer, the woman, I'm saying, she goes back in time and replaces herself, and that's how Thanos gets his thing going. And he gets really annoyed about the Avengers interfering with his plan and everything, and starts going on about destroying all of the universe, rebuilding it, and all of that. And it's a bit drastic, but I sort of know where he's coming from. 32 teeth in the human mouth. That's not practical, is it? Give that another go at least. Then Captain America picks up Thor's hammer, but nothing happens. My next door neighbour Dale was saying to me that he could lift Thor's hammer if he wanted to. Maybe. But ever since realising about the extension cord thing, I've started to appreciate him and his music a lot less.
I hate these words so much. They are so stupid. I don't even have the time to say meander and meandering. Nobody really does. Jesus.
There's a massive battle like Lord of the Rings, except everyone's kind of immortal, or in a magic suit, or a pretty good shot. And I'm not really clear who they're fighting. So it's like, has Thanos been breeding orcs or something? So there's this big fight going on, and Cap M starts ragging on Thanos, and you think, oh wow, she's gonna kill him or something, and then he just whacks her away, and Iron Man looks really worried, which I can sympathise with because I was worried about it as well. But Benedict Cumberbatch winked at me cheekily, well, you know, the screen, and that did put me at ease. Then, and here's the real spoiler, the goodies win, but in a Shyamatastic twist, there's still 45 minutes left. I can't even begin to tell you what happens there. A lot of bowing, and that's Endgame. You know, well done, lads. End of an era, end of Phase 3. I mean, apart from that Spider-Man film coming out next month. Yeah, it was good to see that they got everyone in it, though. I mean, no Adam Warlock, but, you know, they did get Natalie Portman back for that one shot where she doesn't speak. You know, as sort of like Thor's sort of love interest from the first one, whatever her name was. I'm assuming she was playing her. It could have just been Natalie Portman as herself, I suppose.
The cat's in the cradle and the silver